There are the All-Americans at 152 pounds, led by the champion, Jason Holmes of Michigan. And we move now to 171 pounds, and in the red and gray singlet, we have Pat Popolizio of Niskayuna, New York, the state champion and outstanding wrestler in New York this year, against two-time Tennessee state champion Charles McTorry from Brentwood, Tennessee, and John Overton High School of Nashville. McTorry, the first wrestler in the history of the National High School Wrestling Championships to represent the state of Tennessee. McTorry in the black, red, and white singlet. Popolizio in the red and gray. Pat Popolizio made his college choice back in November during the early signing period, signing with Oklahoma State.
Popolizio pulling him back onto the mat, took the first takedown attempt.
Charles McTorry, as we said, the first Tennessee wrestler to make the National High School Finals. A couple matches from now at heavyweight, we'll see the first wrestler from South Carolina to make the National High School Finals. So some new states getting into the act this year. Still no score. We've wrestled 40 seconds of the first period.
McTorry not liking the tie-ups, evidently. Seems to be a little confused as to how to make his approach.
Popolizio from the same high school that produced 1984 Olympic gold medalist Jeff Blatnick, as well as Andy Saris, many times a member of the United States Greco-Roman World Team. So Niskayuna with a lot of wrestling tradition as they go off the edge again. Still a scoreless match, 59 seconds left to go in the first period.
McTorry backing up. I figured that was going to happen. He has been backing up on the whistle every time, and you just can't do that. You've got to circle in, even if you're trying to buy some time, as he just did right there.
Now McTorry does circle in. Ticking down to 50 seconds left in the first period, and McTorry shrugs behind for the takedown.
Popolizio with not a very good shot there, just kind of had his arms out, and McTorry landing in the right spot.
McTorry started wrestling in 7th grade because his magnet school down in Brentwood did not have a basketball team. He really wanted to play basketball, and he told me he had to give wrestling a chance to grow on him. But obviously it has, and obviously here he is in the finals, a huge amount of athletic ability. Still has a way to go in the technique aspect of the sport, but he has a lot of desire, and he told me he came here to win this tournament, and he's sure trying to do that right now, ahead 2-0. Popolizio with the escape, makes it 2-1, but McTorry right in on the leg attack again.
McTorry with a nice double leg there. Not a whole lot with the setup, but basically powered through and almost got the takedown.
16 seconds left in the first period. Charles McTorry with the early takedown and leads 2-1. This is the 171-pound final of the 7th annual National High School Wrestling Championships. Rob Sherrill, Ed Ferraro, and George Von Benko bringing you the action from the A.J. Palumbo Center here on the campus of Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. Final seconds of the first period, and it'll end with Charles McTorry in the black, white, and red singlet in the lead 2-1. McTorry will have the option for the second period, and he'll take the bottom position. And if he escapes, he'll he'll increase his lead to 3-1.
Both wrestlers in the first period, Rob, making the similar mistakes of they're wrestling with their elbows out, and you know that's usually a weird setup, evidently, that they would have from that. And I think that's kind of what confused them both. Is like it was like wrestling in a mirror.
Popolizio working a little bit on top here as we start the second period. Now McTorry gets to his feet. Not really trying to work on the hands, but he whirls out, gets the, and it is a loss of control awarded by the official, Larry Magi. And 3-1, the lead for Charles McTorry.
Once those hands are broke, even though it seems like they're hip to hip and they have a high and low on each other, they will be awarded the point.
Minute 30 left in the second period, and it's 3-1 now in favor of Charles McTorry.
Here's that look I was showing you earlier, Rob. With those elbows out and each one controlling each other on the outside. That's what I think is confusing them both, and we're not seeing a whole lot of activity there.
Minute 14 left in the second period, and really not an awful lot of offense, although I think McTorry's had the better of the takedown shots, a double there from kind of far away, and now Popolizio drops down to the single leg. McTorry trying to lock into the crotch, but Popolizio now trying to work up. He's elevating that leg. 55 seconds left in the second period, and Popolizio trying to go behind, and Larry Magi stops it for the potentially dangerous on the right knee of Charles McTorry, and we're going to have some injury time as a result.
Just in that situation where they were approaching, the knee did come out, and you do have to protect the wrestler. There's no doubt about that. Popolizio real low on that leg, which just leaves everything else up top. Any shift of position whatsoever will just pull that baby out, and you can be in serious trouble. You have to remember, in all aspects of wrestling, safety comes first, and God knows these kids have a great, great career coming up, and that's one thing you don't want to see.
Certainly, each of these guys has wrestled 5 to 6 matches coming into these finals, and conditioning playing an awful big factor in what you do once you get to this point. Okay, let's look at what happened in that situation where the potentially dangerous situation was called. Popolizio is in on the leg, and what's happening here, Ed?
Right here, Popolizio's on that low single. Right there it came out. It just kind of got away from him, and McTorry just, when he turned, it pulled itself out.
Back to live action now. Inside of 45 seconds left in the second period. 3-1, still the lead for Charles McTorry.
McTorry tried jacking him up there with an inside trip, just turning his body a bit.
36 seconds left to go. McTorry in the black, red, and white singlet from Brentwood, Tennessee in the Nashville area, and two-time state champion at John Overton High School in Nashville. Still with the 3-1 lead. 25 seconds left to go, and they go off the edge. .22 seconds left to go as Larry Magi restarts them. Inside of 15 seconds left to go now, and McTorry again drops, trying for a leg attack that Popolizio fights off.
McTorry,
5 seconds left to go, and
there's a nice double.
A nice double by McTorry, but no points. He didn't work up far enough to get the takedown.
He's made the commitment a few times and just decided that wasn't the right opening until this last one. Unfortunately, time beat him.
McTorry gives the escape, the intentional escape for Popolizio, and that makes the score 3-2. Just started the third period, and they are off the edge 9 seconds in.
Popolizio starting to be a little bit more of the aggressor, and McTorry has to be careful of backing out. It's not that he's running off or anything. There you go. He's got to meet him in the circle and then circle in.
He does stay in the circle. Minute 45 left to go in the match. Charles McTorry now in on the double leg, trying to increase his lead, and still with the double, trying to elevate it now. Popolizio countering, but now it is 2 points, and 5-2 now the lead for Charles McTorry.
Both legs, he had the criteria accomplished. Once again, perseverance. He kept after him, didn't try to sit on the 3-2 lead. At this level, you do that, you will lose. And,
great double leg shot at the end of the second period. McTorry just ran out of time. He had another one right there, and he scored. Now the intentional escape given, and 5-3 the score And McTorry right back in on the legs again, trying to extend his lead.
Both wrestlers realizing, once again, McTorry, that he is only up 2 points, and you don't sit on that lead. Popolizio, knowing that he's down, doesn't want to wait for the last 15, 20, 30 seconds. He wants to get this baby going now, and let's see what's going on in 30 seconds.
Larry Magi telling McTorry to, come back to the circle a little bit more quickly, son. And now
McTorry burying that head may get nailed for stalling. Popolizio just kind of maybe not playing that game well enough.
Entirely possible, and now it's going to be another injury time for Charles McTorry as he is on the edge, still leading by a score of 5-3. Just about a minute left to go.
A lot of these wrestling situations do require some science. Situations like that where McTorry's tiring, Popolizio has to use his head and go with some more fakes, make it look a little worse than it is, if you will. Maybe get the official to give you a call.
McTorry getting down toward 30 seconds remaining on the injury time. You're allowed to course 2 minutes in a match and 3 separate injury timeouts, and now McTorry is to his feet. And the injury time clock is stopped. He's used 1:36 of his 2 minutes. He takes a shot right off the whistle, under 50 seconds left to go now. McTorry still with the 5-3 lead.
That shot he did not want to take. He was way out of range. He reached. Popolizio just was surprised with it. Popolizio up with a single right now. Good position, actually. Now lost to one arm, but still has it elbow deep. That's key. He's recovered back to his position. Head in. He's trying to dump him back.
25 seconds left to go. McTorry keeps his balance, keeps the whizzer, and no points as they go off the edge. 21 seconds left. McTorry clinging to that 5-3 lead. Now they restart it. McTorry in on the single.
Nothing.
Popolizio counters, and McTorry counters with the whizzer. 10 seconds left to go. Popolizio trying to limp arm out, but McTorry holding on to that whizzer. 5 seconds left to go, and now Popolizio in with the single, but he's collapsed, and McTorry, the first finalist for Tennessee, becomes the first champion for Tennessee by a score of 7-3 on the late takedown, and the athletic ability of Charles McTorry was what carried the day for him.
Larry Magi, the official, did an excellent job on letting the dust settle in that situation. A lot of officials sometimes will be a little bit quick with their calls, and that could have really got things turned the wrong way. Great job.
Last year, Tennessee had its first All-American in the National High School Wrestling Championships. This year, they not only get their first finalist, but their first champion, and it's Charles McTorry from John Overton High School in Nashville. In a minute, we'll be meeting the All-Americans in the 160-pound weight class, and we'll be getting to meet Charles McTorry as he has a few words with our George Van Banco. He's heading over that way now, so let's meet Charles McTorry, and here's George Van Banco with him.
We get on first. I'm with Charles McTorry, who is the national champion at 171 pounds. And Charles, you got a quick message?
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank God, because through him I do all things. I would like to thank my family, the McTorry family, because they have tremendous support of me. They're here today, all of them. I'd like to thank my coach for 5 years, for the best coaching that anybody can ask for, and my teammates that have in Overton and Nashville.
You had to battle through a tough match here, a couple of injury timeouts, and I thought you might have dinged up that knee early.
Yeah, he kind of bent it. They booed, but I mean, you saw he bent it. That's all right, though, I got it. That's what counts.
Charles, your first national champion from the state of Tennessee. You have to be proud of that.
Yes, sir, I'm very proud of it. Tennessee, I don't think they're well represented here. Not enough of our good wrestlers come. But now, hopefully after this, more of them will come.
Charles, thanks a lot. That's Charles McTorry, the national champion at 171 pounds from the state of Tennessee.